Hello, I want to show you how you can collect all your first connections for message broadcast. Um, uh, you should go to all your first connections page, click here and click see all. Okay, now go to message broadcast to first connections, create new broadcast, for example, all first, and go to recipients tab and click collect message recipients. Okay, I don't have a lot of connections here. So if you have a lot of connections, for example 10,000, it will take a lot of time to collect all these connections, and the page will be very overloaded. It will require a lot of memory and CPU on your computer, and sometimes LinkedIn can't load all of your list, but you can collect a lot. Sometimes you can collect all, sometimes not, and not. I'm sorry, but this is a LinkedIn issue, and Link Helper can't fix this issue. All first connections collected, we can check this, click view collected. As you can see, all these connections in recipients queue. When you collection from the My Connections page, it is very often that avatar can be displayed in the right way. Maybe we will fix this in the future releases, but it is not very important. You can, so at this moment all these connections will receive our message, and we can set our message on the message tab. We can use first name, last name, company and position variables. Sometimes company and position variables can be recognized well, and for this case you can provide default values for these variables. But in most cases I recommend you to use just only first and last name connections. But in Sales Navigator, these variables recognize this very well in 99% cases. But in general, LinkedIn, it can be recognized, I think, in 90% of all cases. Okay, let's set our template. For example, hello, first name, and for example, I'm happy that you joined my network. I don't know, you can set whatever. So, and click save. You then can preview your message, go to view collected again, and for example click show message. Oh, and it is very wise to use preview, because as you can see, I type first name in wrong way. This some mistake. First name. Okay, click again. Oh, now it's work. It works very well. Okay, all connections in recipients queue will receive our message. But for example, we wanted to exclude some of them. To exclude, we must check this context for excluding. I don't know. Okay, and now just click Move Selected to Excluded List. So you can see them. You can send them here. You can move them back if you wish by clicking Move Selected to Recipients Queue. Or, for example, if you send them message manually, you can select them and move to processed recipients list. By the way, when link helper send message, it moves context from recipient queue to processed recipients. And each broadcast campaign has own these three lists: recipients queue, processed recipients, and excluded recipients. And if you recollect again, link helper will pull to recipients queue only new connections, so it protects you from duplicating messages to the same people with the same message. But you must use the same campaign to protect from this. Okay, now just click close, and then click Start Message Broadcast. You can set how many messages you want to send during single iteration. In our case, 95 messages per 24 hours. So link helper will send 95 messages, then it will sleep for 24 hours and will start again automatically. Okay. For example, we want to use message broadcast function to like an autoresponder to send messages only to our new recently added first connections. And to do this, we can, after we collected all first connections, we can create, for example, new broadcast and name it autoresponder. And for example, we can open manage broadcast instead of pulling contacts again from the my connections page. We can, as in broadcast management widget, we can choose our broadcast all first connections, choose recipients queue, it just sub list of this broadcast campaign, and for example, in our case we collected our old connections, old first connections, and we can move them, or not move, we can copy them to excluded recipients by clicking Add Contacts. So, when we choose autoresponder broadcast and go to first connections page with our all first connections, by default this page sorted by recently added. So at the top we will see our only new connections, and if we click collect message recipients, Link Helper will collect only recently added connections, because in it excluded list all your old first connections, so it will pull only new connections. Then you can set your follow-up message and send this message to recently added connections. Next time when you get new recently added connections, you can recollect again to autoresponder broadcast, and it will collect only new connections, because our oldest connections will be in excluded list. Our recently added connections, but those who already receive our follow-up message will be in processed recipients list. So newly added connections will be pulled to recipients queue without others connections. Okay. And by the way, you can create, as you understood, you can create messages chains, because when you send your follow-up messages to recently added connections, you can, for example, create a new broadcast campaign. Let's, for example, proposal. Set your message template, because each broadcast campaign has own message template. You can type your proposal here, and you can open manage broadcasts, and at the source broadcast you can choose autoresponder, and if you already sent some messages, you will have some numbers here, because numbers of those contacts who already receive your follow-up message, and you can copy them to recipients queue instead of collecting from the, for example, search page or my connections page, and in this case you will send your proposal only to those your contacts who already receive your autoresponder, your follow-up message. And after this, you can create another, for example, third broadcast and copy from proposal processed recipients to your, I don't know, third broadcast with the third message. Okay, I think that it's enough for today. Thank you. Bye bye.